Barb, Maple PhD, and I wanted to take a look today at my favorite roll and write games. These are games where you are rolling a number of dice and then using the results in order to write something on a sheet of paper, all in pursuit of points and, of course, winning the game. I have fond memories as a kid of playing Yahtzee, where we would all sit at the table with our own score sheets, passing those dice around, and each time it would come to me, just hoping for that Yahtzee or the one die that would make my large or small straight, and feeling great when that happens and celebrating, and deflated when it doesn't. But it was always a good time. Now, of course, Yahtzee is still a good game, but roll and writes have come a long way since then. So without further ado, let's take a look at my favorite 3 roll and write games. My number 3 is a game I had heard about as a print and play, but then it showed up at PAX Unplugged as a fully fledged game, and I had to pick it up. It's Bargain Basement Bathysphere. Now, this is a solo game that has a really fun theme. You have purchased yourself a bathysphere of questionable quality, and you are taking it out on different scenarios, doing different things in the ocean, trying to collect different animals to put in an aquarium, or save scuba divers, or explore these vents that are pushing things up from the bottom of the ocean. So the game comes with a 12-game scenario where each time you are doing something slightly different. There are 3 different boards in the game that you'll be playing, and each game you have to figure out which board you're playing and then mark off certain parts of the board that aren't accessible for you to that game. Each game you have a set number of dice, but you can use some of those dice on special things that you have unlocked, but it means you don't have one of those die for the rest of the game. And so it's this big decision of, do I spend one of my precious dice on something that might help me in the game or might not, or do I hang on to it so I have a bigger pool of dice to deal with? Because as you re-roll the dice, you're using oxygen of your bathysphere. And as you're traveling with your bathysphere, it's taking damage or stress, and eventually it's going to kind of implode on itself. So you need to get yourself up before you've run out of oxygen, before you've put too much stress on it, and before too many bad things have happened to your bathysphere. And when some of those things get worse, you lose dice. So the fewer dice you start with, the fewer you have by the end of the game, and you're kind of worried about, am I going to get out or not? So there are a lot of these great decisions. Do you save the scuba divers or not? The game seems a little casual about that. I always try and save them when I can, but sometimes they are just too far away. So anyway, I have had a blast playing this. That's my number 3, Bargain Basement Bathysphere. So my number 2 is Welcome To, which technically isn't a roll and write, so I might be cheating a little bit. But it's a flip and write game where instead of dice, you have a deck of cards. You're shuffling them up, dealing out 3 piles, and flipping them over each round, and then using that to write something on a sheet. So it's still kind of a roll and write in spirit, if not exactly. So in this game, you are building up a neighborhood, trying to number houses sequentially on 3 blocks in order to, of course, get points. You're going to get points by building up pools on some of the houses, by adding parks to the neighborhood, or fencing off different areas to get specifically sized divisions in your neighborhood. This is a game where, everybody has the same numbers to deal with and the same, special powers each round. And you think, well, if everybody has the same thing, we're going to all do the exact same thing. And by the second or third turn, everyone's neighborhood already looks very different, which is one of the amazing things. You can see how people are thinking differently about the numbers that they're given. We had a lot of fun with this one during the pandemic. It was perfect over Zoom. The score sheets are available as a free app, and so we would have our deck of cards and display them on Zoom, and our friends would have their iPads and be keeping score that way. And it was one way to really keep us connected. But even before that, I loved this game. It has a base neighborhood, which is challenging on its own, but then it also has a bunch of different themed neighborhoods. There's a Halloween themed one that we love to pull out in the fall, and there's a Christmas themed one that we love in the winter where you're stringing lights along the street. You know, there's a lot of variety in the game. It's challenging in the base box, but a lot more things can be added to it. And for all of those reasons, this is my number 2. Welcome to. And my number 1 roll and write game, not cheating this time, it's actually a roll and write, is Cat Cafe. This is a sweet little game where you are adding toys to your cat cafe in order to keep all of the kitties happy. In the game, you are rolling dice and drafting 1 each for each player, and then there is 1 leftover die that is shared by everybody. The 2 dice allow you to put 1 toy in your cafe. In your cafe, there are a number of different towers, and one of the dice will tell you what level of that tower you can put it on, and the other die tells you what toy you can put in there. And so you're always kind of deciding, you know, do I need another mouse here because you want groups of mice together? Or maybe a feeding dish because you want different toys around the feeding dish. There's also a house that you get to score immediately. So if you've got a whole bunch of butterflies and you don't think you're going to get more, maybe you score that house. It gets you some points. You can also pass if you need to get some paw prints, and these are ways to manipulate the dice for you so that you can, mitigate bad dice rolls for yourself. At the end of the game, you're simply tallying up the different ways that the different toys score. So like mice want to be together. The butterflies are simply straight up points. Feeding dishes want different toys all around them. The yarns are an area majority in each tower. So you're keeping track of all of these different things. On top of that, the first person to finish a tower gets a number of points. Everyone else can get points for finishing that tower later, but it's fewer points. And so there's a lot of fun decisions to make. There's a lot of different things going on, and the theme is really cute. So that is why Cat Cafe is my number 1 roll and write game. So what about you? What are some of your favorite roll and write games? I have a bunch more that I didn't even mention on here that I love. So I'm sure that I'm missing some that are your favorite. So leave them in the comments below. Let me know. And maybe I've tried them, maybe I haven't, and I need to try them out. And we can, have a discussion about that. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I will be back again with another video. So be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that you know when those videos come out. Otherwise, in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as MeeplePhD, and I have a blog at meeplephd.com. We'll see you next time.